What's up, guys? Barry Game here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today, well, kind of an update video. Number one, my baby girl is back home. She's good, everything's fine. I now have something of what she had, so if it seems like I have a lot of breaks in my videos coming up the next week, that's because I keep coughing like uncontrollably every 30 seconds to a minute, so I'm hoping I can get through a lot of stuff without coughing. Number two is, we of course are done with the Chinese New Year events, and people are now asking, what is the next big event around the corner? Well, it's interesting because really there's a couple holidays coming up in March that one usually aren't in March and two usually aren't celebrated in Idle Heroes, and that's what we're going to be talking about what to expect from the month of March. So hopefully you guys enjoy this, and make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Let's get into it. So as you guys can see right here, the 31st of the month of this calendar is highlighted, and you see a lot of Easter eggs on this calendar. Well, that's because we have Easter on March 31st. Easter typically happens in early to mid April. This is one of the few occurrences where it does land on one of the earliest months it ever is, in March. So what does that mean? Well, first off, you have to realize this weird calendar here has Sunday at the end and not at the beginning. So it basically means we are starting the Easter events on the 28th/29th. The question is, what event is that going to be? Well, if we do take a look in game here, this week we of course have our Prophet Orb event. We have the Fantasy Factory, Heroic Miracle, all that stuff, not that bad. Starting on the 29th, which is the last week of, or last day I should say, of February, that's going to be the last one of this event. We're going to be starting Wishing Fountain and Mysterious Chest event. So what does that mean for the actual month that we have upcoming? Well, technically that would mean that event is starting right here. So on the 7th/8th, we should be starting the campaign event loot week, which is okay, that's decent, that's interesting. And then the 14th, 15th should be another heroic summoning event. What that means is I really don't think it's going to line up with a big holiday event. So I think this one's going to be a big nothing burger type of event. We're going to get the next hero coming out. We don't know exactly what faction, what type of hero, or anything like that just yet. But that is what we're looking at as far as one full rotation coming back to Chinese New Year. Now, what does fall on that exact week right there is St. Patrick's Day. However, I can't really for the life of me remember if we've ever had a St. Patrick's Day event in Idle Heroes. I'm going to jump on over here to like last year's stuff or the year before. I don't remember having anything for the, like, I don't think it's something we ever really celebrate in the game. And it doesn't look like in the past years we have had anything at least super special. It looks like most weeks in the past 2 to 3 years that have fallen on St. Patrick's Day kind of ended up being a pretty normal event. I mean, Wishing Fountain, there was like this special glorious chest thing. There was a moonlight gift. There was a really weird janky sky mall. Like maybe we'll get something similar to that again. But again, that is the 17th, which again is another Sunday, which means it would start on the 14th, 15th. So that's one holiday typically isn't really talked about much in game, but it does technically line up with a heroic summoning event. So we'll have to see if they do anything special for that. Now, what that means for us is if this does stay a heroic summoning event, that means the 21st, 22nd should be something along the lines of a Prophet Orb event. And then the 28th and 29th should be very similar to what we see right here, coming up to a Wishing Fountain event. So if Easter lands on a Wishing Fountain event, that would be pretty amazing. That would be good. We've been needing a good type of event to come up that has been for wishing coins. So if it does somehow fall on Easter, I think a good majority of people will be happy. Now, again, if we are talking about a Wishing Fountain event, that means you're going to want to save up a good chunk of wishing coins. And we basically have the bare minimum for 9 loops, which is like 2180 or something like that. It's 2140, 21. I can't remember exactly. Save about 2100 to 2200 saved up, and you'll be able to do all 9 loops of the Wishing Fountain event, which again, if it does keep the same schedule, this will be exactly what we see. Now, one thing to remember is this beginning of the year, we've had a lot of event rotation changes just because of how holidays has been set. And it's been a really long time in Idle Heroes since we've had a manipulation of our 4-week schedule. Because as you guys know, we have a Heroic Summon, Prophet Orb, Wishing Fountain, Campaign event. Those 4 events constantly loop and they just go round and round and round. So we recently got a manipulation in January so that everything lined up for Chinese New Year, and even though it was like a 3-week thing, it just didn't work out to the normal 4-week rotation, which means we lost an event. And I don't know if something like that is going to happen similarly here, because again, if we just take a look one more time at this calendar, technically Heroic Summoning event should land here. I can't see them putting out a new hero and then 2 weeks later. 2 weeks seems a little short to have a yet another Heroic Summoning event, but I wouldn't put it past them. And we're still a week away from seeing what like the March preview is going to be, and that's going to give us a little bit more insight to what we can expect for the month of March. But honestly, saving wishing coins and try to stockpile as many Heroic Summoning Scrolls as possible for the upcoming month. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight on what March is kind of shaping up to look like as far as special events. The only one thing I will say is I feel like we might have another Soul Awakening session with a B+ stone coming up in March, because March would put us 3 months from the previous one, and that's typically what we see is every 3 to 4 months we have a Soul Awakening session. We're going to talk about that in a completely different topic, because that's going to be kind of giving you guys guidance on what you should be doing. So keep that in mind too. We might see a Soul Awakening session. Now, last and certainly not least, I want to say thank you guys. A lot of people reached out and gave us our best wishes, with Lily being in the ER and then staying at the hospital, recovering from a crazy amount of illnesses that just piled up and really knocked her out. As you guys can tell, or maybe you can, and I'm doing a really good job covering it up, I'm really kind of sick as well right now, but I do want to make sure we are still covering all bases on news coming out and some fun content. So you will see it. It just might be a little bit less than you're used to seeing, which means you might see more sponsorships in the next couple weeks just to help, pay the bills and everything. So I know a lot of you guys don't like sponsorships. I don't blame you. Even I get a little like, ugh, when I see some of my popular and kind of my favorite YouTubers doing it. But at the end of the day, you got to realize you got to pay the bills at some points, especially when you're a smaller channel like us. So just be prepared. I have picked up a couple extras, so you're going to see maybe more like 3 to 4 in the next month instead of the usual 1 to 2. And again, I do apologize if you guys really hate seeing them, but at the end of the day, I got to do what I got to do, make sure the family's good. And that's what we did this week, and hopefully everybody recovers very, very quickly. Hopefully I recover quickly. There will most likely be a stream tonight, I think, if I'm feeling up to it. If I'm feeling up to it, there'll be a stream tonight. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys tomorrow with one. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. If you haven't done it just yet, please hit that subscribe button. We are getting so close. 100,000. See you guys next time.